Here alongside Bob Weeks. And Bob, we're continuing to look at some of the top storylines for the PGA Tour in 2025. Today we're going to focus on three. So we're going to do some quick hitters today, if you will. So Scottie Schauffele had an unbelievable 2024. But you know who else did? Xander Schauffele. He won 2 majors. Can he push Schauffele to be #1 in the world?
I mean, I think he already is pushing Scottie Schauffele in a lot of different ways because I think he is that talented. He made some slight changes. Really, if you and I looked at them, Adam, and looked at these changes and said, that's what he's doing, it's a little bit of something at the top of the backswing, and it paid off big. And I think getting that first win, when we had a chance to chat with him right after the round, he was just sort of elated at finally getting this monkey off his shoulder of being the guy who hadn't gone so far but hadn't won a major championship. And then what he did at Troon to win the Open Championship, that was unbelievable in the weather, nasty day. And I think he got a lot of grit out of that win as well. So with those 2 major championships, I think he's riding high. I think he really feels good about where his game is. And I would not be surprised to see him take over from Scottie Schauffele. He's got a lot of work to do it. But I think they're 1 and 2, and maybe it's a pretty close 1 and 2 as well.
And another reason why Xander Schauffele can push Schauffele to #1 in the world, he's been more consistent at the major championships. He hits it longer than Scottie Schauffele, and he also putts it better than Scottie Schauffele as well. So Xander Schauffele, Scottie Schauffele, they are 1-2 in the world. But looking at the world rankings, you know who's #3? That's Rory McIlroy. And here we are, Bob, another year and another time where we're talking about McIlroy's drought at the major championships. Hasn't won since 2014. Now, if he doesn't win another major championship, will we look at his career as a disappointment?
I think you'll look at it as kind of missed opportunities because he did have some chances to win major championships. I mean, the U.S. Open this year was a perfect example of how he just kind of stumbled down the stretch and made some really sort of unusual errors for him. Playing the wrong clubs off tees, you got to think, getting a ball above the hole and having a very tricky putt. There was all sorts of things that you don't normally think of when you think of Rory McIlroy. But if you look at some of the other majors, I mean, he really wasn't in the hunt in any of them the other ones as well, especially that second round 77 at the Masters to me was just a real disaster. And you wonder if some of these major championships are inside his head a little bit more than he's letting on, because it's almost like he's trying to press a little bit too hard, press a little bit farther. I mean, do you see that as well?
Totally. You could really see it, those 2 missed putts at the U.S. Open down the stretch. But Rory has played well in the majors since 2014. 21 top 10s at the majors since his last major victory, the most of any player. So we'll see how Rory McIlroy can perform in 2025. Especially, I'm looking forward to seeing him at Quail Hollow, the PGA Championship, where we know, Bob, he's had a ton of success in his career at Quail Hollow. Now, someone who's also had a ton of major success, but it's been a long time, it's Jordan Spieth. I mean, Jordan Spieth, he was brutal in 2024, to put it lightly. 3 top 10s, 7 missed cuts, just had wrist surgery. Has he hit rock bottom? Are we going to see more Spieth magic come back in 2025?
You know, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. The big thing is he's had wrist surgery, and that's to repair a ligament that was in his wrist that really caused him a lot of pain. He said it hurt at the bottom of his swing, and when he hit the ground, it really hurt. But he said the biggest thing was anticipating that it was going to hurt. He says you don't know if you're going to hit the bottom of the turf, take a div, and if he does, he says it just absolutely lit up his wrist. So that is coming back. Could that be the key to his success? It's been 10 years now since really he had that famous year in 2015. I mean, I think right now Jordan Spieth needs to kind of ease himself back onto the runway. But if this wrist does hold up, if he's okay now, he's got kids at home, he's got, a change of life, all those kind of things add up. But if he could put that on a shelf where it's manageable and go out there healthy, who knows what could happen.
Jordan Spieth does say he is pain-free right now. And Bob, it's hard to believe Spieth's last victory, the 2022 RBC Heritage.